Hey there, everybody. So here today we're on Founder Fridays, joined by Austin. Austin is the co-founder of Saner AI, an AI tool built to help founders stay organized and focused, and with a specific focus on ADHD. With a background in product and strategy, he's now focused on solving the everyday chaos of building a startup. So Austin, thank you so much for joining. Happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. Austin, I thought we could start with your story. Can you walk us through your journey, maybe from early career to what ultimately led you to build Saner? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like my life is about like trying dozen parts to find out like what didn't fit so that I eventually find out what fits for my life. So I started out with many different ambitions. Like for example, at 19, right, I wanted to be an MC, but I wasn't comfortable with like being funny on the spot. So I switched and I tried consulting as a big company. And then I landed a role at a big tech company. And then I tried to become an influencer and got a bit of traction, like a couple of thousand followers in weeks. And then I also tried to become an actor. So yeah, from outside it looks like I'm doing anything, I'm doing everything, but from the inside, like none of them feel right for me. I kept wondering like, who am I? What should I do with my life? What should my ambitions? What should my passion be? So eventually I hit a wall and I even consider going back to school to study my master just to buy time and figure everything out. But luckily, like I share my story with many friends, and one of them also had the same struggle. And so we teamed up. And finally, after a couple of months, I decided to quit my corporate job and took the leap to build a startup. And that's how my startup journey began. Like it's about trying a lot of different things in my life and gradually go towards what I feel like the one for me. Yeah, is the startup right now. Yeah.
That's amazing. And the startup mentioned, obviously, Saner AI. How did
Right.
the idea for Saner come together? What led you to focus on ADHD, AI, and the specific type of productivity challenge?
Right. So it's quite funny that like the idea started because me and my co-founder really like Iron Man. So we obsessed with the idea of having our own JARVIS, like a proactive assistant that just know what you need, when you need it. And so we set out to build it. And the dream like was big, right? We want to build an AI that could have anyone manage their life like a superhero. But then when we launched, like we realized that building a general product without a lot of funding will be so difficult. Yeah, so that's why we decided to step back, looking at our competitive advantages and the market needs. And then we realized a couple of things. Like first of all, my co-founder, he has ADHD. He's like get buried under tasks, reminders, notes, emails, etc. And he tried, I can say, most of the productivity tools out there, but most of them like didn't work for him. Like none were designed the way his brain works. So that's the first insight, right? The second insight is that it wasn't just him. Like when we first launched, the people we saw that resonated the most with the apps are people with ADHD. And they message us saying things like, "Hey, thank you so much for building this. I finally feel seen. Hey, thank you for building the tool, etc." So all of that like lead to our moment of like clarity or aha moment, right? We had the founder market fit, which means my co-founder has ADHD, so he knows what we should build. Second, like we found a real underserved audience, which is the people with ADHD, and we have some kind of early traction, like user telling us like they like the app, we're onto something. So based on all of that like signal, we think that okay, we should go for the AI ADHD tools market, building the Jarvis for this audience first. Yeah. So that's why we come up with this idea. Yeah.
That's amazing. While you were building this, you went through Techstars Tokyo, correct? What was that experience like, um, from being accepted to building that within that ecosystem? How do you think it shaped Saner?
Right. The Techstars Tokyo it, well, it was an intense and really transformative program. I think that changed our trajectory a lot because previously we are just a couple of dudes in Vietnam trying to build a global business, global brand, and we have no idea what we have to do to build a startup, to build a VC funded startup. But yeah, the Techstar is a really big VC. early stage VC, and they gave us a lot of like lessons and the perspective in building a global big business. So in that program, we learned about pitching. We have a lot of mentors, and we learned about the user focused product. So for example, right, a major focus of the program was about refining the pitch so that it resonate with our investor, resonate with our users, making the user the hero of the product. The hero of the story, not Santa. Yeah. And also it gave us the access to a lot of successful founders around the world, and they gave us like honest feedback about the operation, the planning, the campaigns, etc. And we learned to drop our egos and to actually tell them what we were struggling with in order to get the most out of them. So that's the big lesson. And also we found that uh, in the program, right, we got a lot of questions on why we focus on ADHD people, why we focus on ADHD founders, and finally we have a data that ADHD founder they actually like converted 4 times more than average users, and which sharpen our product and marketing strategy and shape how we communicate with our users from that onwards. Yeah,
That's amazing. And I liked what you said there about the user being the hero of the story.
yeah.
Obviously, you guys are doing a lot, capturing context, turning chaos into structured actions. How do you guys approach the balance between helpful automation and staying out of the user's way so that they're the hero of the story, as you mentioned?
Right, right. So our philosophy with AI is that AI should be a personal assistant, not an intrusive manager. Like we want to build an AI that keep everything in order behind the scenes. Like it could catch the thing you missed, organizing your mess, and nudging you when it really matters. For example, right? The AI could read your rambling task or calendar and turn that into a clear structure, set reminders automatically for you, and surface the things that are relevant to what you are doing right now, but you may forgot. So the key here is you always in control. We do not want to automate your life completely. We're here to just give you enough kind of structure and AI suggestion so that you could work more easily, efficient, and at the end of the day you can spend more time on doing what you like to do, not the boring admin task. Yeah, so that's our philosophy about building this product.
That's amazing. And honestly, I've been following you guys. Well, we've worked together, but
Yeah.
also I've been following you on LinkedIn, and I've seen a lot of the great stories that you share. Um, People saying it feels like cheating, that it's so easy to use, or that it saved them from forgetting key follow-ups. Is there
Mhm.
any feedback that you've gotten recently that's really stuck with you, or any really amazing wins or stories?
Yeah, of course. Like, man, like we receive a lot of like beautiful feedback over time, but
That's
I
amazing.
think like, there's one moment that I think I will never forget in this startup journey. Like it was maybe a month or two after we launched the beta version. So we were in the early days, right? Everything was super scrappy, buggy, and we honestly weren't sure like if we building the right product, if the product will be really helpful to people. But then we had a pet users, and I had I I emailed her, and I asked to have an interview with her, and she accepted. So she's the founder who has ADHD. She was running her business, like juggling like everything on her own with 1 or 2 staff. And she told me like midway through our chat that Senna has helped her like outsource more of her admin tasks and boring stuff. And she said like this, like because of Senna, I finally feel like my business has a chance of success because now I have time to do important tasks. I don't get bogged down with the boring tasks anymore. And that's really moved me, man, because we just so early and there's a person like in the other side of the world, right? Feel the product and get the benefit out of of the product. And that really stayed with me until here, until now. And recently, I also have a feedback from one of our users. She autistic, and she told us that she had been searching for a tool for her like for years, but she found none of them. But when she found a center, it feel like something finally clicked, something finally fit with how her brain works. And that kind of feedback like motivate us every day to build the product, even though we have a lot of like struggle, a lot of drawbacks, right? But those feedback is what keep us moving. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And maybe you could give us just a quick little elevator pitch of exactly how Saner takes your everyday tasks, maybe your ramblings, and turns it into actions, into schedule and organized chaos, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So the quick elevator pitch is that Sena.ai is a personal assistant for your notes, emails, calendar with an ADHD-friendly design. So instead of bogging down with boring admin works, you can now just chat with AI to search your notes, to manage your email, and to schedule your task. For example, right, you can talk with AI, hey, remind me to call John at 4. Hey, plan the day for me so I finish everything by 5. And it will read through all your contacts, your inbox, your tasks, your calendar, and proactively build the best action plan for you. And with all the tasks is created and is scheduled, it will show up automatically in your Google Calendar, and it will set reminder automatically as well. So you will always know what you're working on and follow the timeline so that you don't miss a thing. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. Also, it sounds like Tokyo Techstars really got you prepared. It sounds great in
Yeah.
the way that you presented that, and it was perfectly
I
communicated.
love it. Yeah.
Um, so Austin, obviously you guys are building in a niche, and building in a niche is something that we hear about a lot of the time. You know, find a problem and solve it. Do you have
Mhm.
any advice for people who are building in a niche, for founders of companies kind of like yours who are trying to solve a problem and like specifically target one group? Any advice for them?
Yeah, I guess this is an ongoing lesson, right? We're also testing with this message, with this niche. But based on my experience, right, my biggest piece of advice when you build a product for a niche is that you have to be obsessed with the user problem, talk to them consistently. I personally interview more than 200 people globally to understand about their pain points inside and out so that we could be more confident about the real pain point of users and the real market. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, yeah, I guess you have to prepare to do things that don't scale. Like in early days, I was DMing a lot of people on LinkedIn, Reddit, Discord, just to get started with our first 100 users. I guess it's a bit easier because we have a niche. We know who we should target. But those kind of works, right? It wasn't glamorous, but I guess it is really necessary to get you going.
Okay, that's amazing. And it seems like it's working so far. In terms of what's next, what are you most excited for on the roadmap for Saturn? Is there anything coming that might surprise users or push the product into a new territory?
Yeah, like I think there's a big vision. What I'm more excited about is the end of manual productivity. Like in few years, I think no one will manage their task, the notes, calendar by hand anymore. You won't be like checking off boxes and trying to remember if you reply to that email. You will just ask AI and it will handle it like a personal assistant for you. And that's the future we're trying to build with Senna. And that's the first thing, right? The second thing is we're pushing out a thing called proactive AI assistant, which means instead of waiting you to ask the AI will actively check in. It will remind you. Like every morning, it will read your contacts, your emails, your notes, your calendar, and it will give you an optimal plan for the day. Like imagine an assistant who walk beside you and can correct you in real time, so you can stop worrying about, hey, am I missing something? But start just getting to the work that matters because you know that there's an assistant for you already. And in the future, in the far future, we see Senna becoming a kind of a general secretary that talk with all the specialized AI agent on your behalf. Like it knows your goals, your tone, your deadline, your context, and Senna will delegate that context to all the AI agent accordingly. So you can think of a chief of staff, right? Briefing a team of many different AI agents to get things done in the background for you with your context. So that's the key thing. Yeah. So yeah, I think once that happens, we think we will like 100 times X the productivity of our users. Yeah. Exciting time. Yeah.
No, 100%. I feel like especially the proactive AI, that sounds super interesting. We've talked with a bunch of different founders who discussed some of the best things you can do in terms of productivity in the beginning of the day is write down just kind of the main focuses or the main goals and
Mm.
make sure that you don't get lost in a million things you have to do. So I
Right.
think for people with ADHD, I think the productive AI, it seems really super interesting in terms of making sure the day is clear. And I think I might have to use that myself. In terms
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
um, they're just some rapid questions. We like to just ask quick questions. And instead of Saner, is there one tool that you can't live without right now?
Yeah, it's pen and paper. I
Okay.
by tradition, I love writing, and I carry a notebook everywhere I go, so that if I have any idea, I just write on my notebook. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. And that's so funny because we've heard that from a lot of different founders. And I myself find when I'm having conversations like this or I'm in a meeting, even if I have a note-taking assistant in my call, I love just to write things down as I
Right.
do it. I don't know if it's like a brain thing or just to help me remember things, but I'm glad that that's a shared experience with different people. Is there a daily habit or ritual that keeps you focused?
Yeah, I have a ritual is that I always do my morning planning. Yeah, so I will write down the three biggest tasks I want to do in a day, and I will focus my effort to tackle them first because not all the tasks are created equally. So I should like just focus on the high impacting one first. And that also why we come up with the proactive AI assistant, right? The morning planning is really important. And for overwhelmed people, I want to give that to them easily. They can adjust if they want. But in the overwhelming days, yeah, they can have that ready to go every time. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And for Sainer and for what's moving forward, where can people follow you and your journey?
Yeah, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm quite active on LinkedIn. Yeah, so yeah, if you have anything to say, just DM me there.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll link your LinkedIn in the description below. But Austin, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate coming on the podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate too, man.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.